Depth, my baby's depth. Yeah, I really wish I actually like start highlighting or find a way where I highlight where I was when I actually write this kind of stuff. So today's video is a mistake is the acknowledgement of the distance between your current position and the future position. All right, a mistake is the acknowledgement of the distance between current position and future position. No need to define what a mistake is. Let's assume a mistake is something that disturbs your movement. Rational, reasonable, understandable. Why? Because you're doing something and fuck, it's not working. Stuff like this. So these are, well, monumental. Everyone talks about learning from your mistakes and all that stuff. But there's this frustrated approach to mistakes almost always. Or I don't know if it's almost always or if it's kind of like the default setting. Shame, disappointment, judgment, all of us kind of like, fuck, I made a mistake, right? It's the mental approach to mistake that I actually would want to discuss right now. So me stating right now is a mistake is the acknowledgement of the distance between current position and future position. But it makes sense for it to be that way because effectively what we did was halt our progression. Again, like in your head, you're always moving in the direction that you want, right? We're moving in that direction. Could be going in the complete wrong way, but still believe we're going in the right direction. Hi Sanfura, the Smurfette behind me kind of wants attention. Come, baby. Come. Come. So a mistake, once you acknowledge a mistake, what effectively are you doing? Well, you're taking responsibility. You're actually reflecting on your weaknesses. These are all, the reflecting on your weaknesses and skill sets is the most kind of like objective way you can look at it. Well, on a personal level, you're not looking at yourself on a personal level objectively. So if you look at a mistake, and my favorite thing is the way Nigerians actually phrase it. Because when they fuck up and do something wrong, you know what they say? My enemies have won. Right? It's a very strong thing to say. But effectively, what they're saying is looking at their failure and comparing it to the success that normally comes with, that was supposed to come with it. And they automatically give the success away. It's like my enemies have won. So I wanted to succeed, but my enemies have succeeded. Not won, my enemies have succeeded, yes. So acknowledging this personally is really reflecting on your own position and a future position. Now, the way they did it is they reflected on other people's success, which means you have an idea of success in your head. And if you fail right now, let's face it, that means you're not really feeling that success. Doesn't mean you're not successful. You're not feeling that success. You're not in that position that overcomes it. You're not in that position, not that overcomes it. You're not in that position that that doesn't allow this mistake to kind of like recalibrate you, right? Because ultimately there are positions you're in where mistakes are just taken the way they are and sorted out as you're moving. And there are other positions where you kind of like take a mistake and you like have to pace yourself with it, because the last thing you want is to make another mistake. And I think all of us, I really think human beings go through phases. So when I say all of us, I say all of us at one point. we're kind of like horny to get things done. So we see a mistake and we don't truly understand how it came to be. And if we are to kind of like acknowledge the fact that us making one means we're not there yet, it's definitely a humbling experience. Look, just thinking about it that way, it's not, the mistake itself is a humbling experience, but are you really going to derive humility when you're pissed off, angry, agitated, frustrated? Are a few words that I could think of. But step, no, 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 don't step here, baby, don't step here. See, she wanted attention and she came. In current position and your future position. Do you imagine a future position would be void of mistakes? Or when I wrote this, the only thing I feel is the fact that every future position, well, there's nothing but the current position. There's nothing but the current position because that's the only thing I can experience right now. But it feels like at any given point in time, anywhere we go, there's always somewhere else that we can look at. It's a physical thing, it's a mental thing, it's also an emotional thing. The humbling experience is an emotional experience. It's not a physical or a mental one. Well, a physical one if you get like beat the fuck down, right? But I don't know how you might respond to it emotionally. Ooh, my favorite quote when it comes to this stuff is from Ernest Hemingway: "Man could be destroyed but never defeated, because we have to accept defeat." So there's nothing but the current position, and we're always looking at something else. Now, naturally, like we either move towards it or allow it to gravitate towards us, or we shun it. We don't really have to take action if we don't want to, or we don't really have to allow action if we don't want to. So, anyway, I look at it, there's nothing but the current position, looking around and kind of highlighting the better positions they want to be involved in, basically. And anytime I think you notice, or any time you understand the positions around you to a point where you have a preference, right? Because like you have like 360 vision, but then you kind of like narrow the scope into the things that are fitting through your values and principles, because other stuff are just kind of like, I'm not interested in them. And I think when you do that, you automatically start making mistakes. It's a big declaration. Because instantly everything around you that doesn't fit is going to start kind of like exploring itself awkwardly. And remember, awkwardness is the first stages of attempting. And then from there, you kind of like walk towards the way or mastery. So, humility. A mistake is the acknowledgement of the distance between the current position and the future position. But there's nothing but the current position. And anything we're looking around within the environment. And again, like when we're saying environment, is the environment of our vision that is supported by our principles and values. Because I look at the guitar differently than somebody else would. I look at a computer differently than somebody else would. Everyone sees the world differently based on their own perspective and perception. And the idea behind it is they see the world based on the things that feel that strongly to them. And ultimately, if the things that are closest to you are principled and held in high value, then basically you're looking at the world always from that scope. And what you're doing is you're elevating your current position, not elevating visually, but allowing your current position to have clearer insights, foresight, sight. It's true because foresight is about vision, and that's an emotional thing. insight is about like mentality, and sight is physical. So these three are actually also like referencing the three realms of how we exist. It's turned out to be fucking awesome, man. Insight, foresight, insight, okay. But ultimately, like what we're working on right now is foresight, and your current position is enhanced by these mistakes because the minute you kind of like have clearer foresight, the things that used to pass from beside you that didn't affect you instantly will start affecting you. Simply because now that you have foresight, you can get rid of them. You can deal with them, you can handle them, you can mold them into something else, bundle them like the banks did in 2008. They bundled shitty fucking like products and they got people to invest in them. Horrible shit. But these are the mistakes that remind us or acknowledge the position that we're in. And it's up for us to kind of like accept the foresight that we have that brought this frustration or these mistakes on us. And that's basically acknowledging and handling. Or we could just let it go and continue doing what we normally would. There's nothing wrong with that as well. It's a video.